All right, the buzzword for today is NFT, and of course, we're talking about what I think could be the best and most interesting digital asset to go with in 2021 and 2022, maybe for quite some time. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Path. Lisa and I, we're going to dive
back at it again.
We're going to go into NFTs today because this is, I think, one, when you look at the overall NFT market, the thing that makes the difference really is always going to be about cash in, order volume, movement in the space. OpenSea, first story, look at these transaction volumes.
Unfreaking believable.
That's a 3 billion number in August, right there, OpenSea.
I mean,
this is insane.
Look, the thing about OpenSea is that it has become the main base for NFT transactions.
Right.
And so when we think about what that means, we're talking about a 90% market share.
Yep.
So OpenSea is, as the kids say, popping.
Yeah, it's popping. 3 billion, 9.3 times increase in transaction volume, summing up to over 3 billion. Monthly volume dribbles in billions. OpenSea's daily transaction volume is consistently playing the multi-million-dollar field with more than 320 million in daily transaction. And if you look at where their rise is, coming over from 215 million, along with an exceptional, obviously, NFT sale hike they've seen, this is crazy. Platform has increased 205,745. That's on the active traders side.
Paul, on August 24th, it was $200 million in daily trading volume.
Yeah.
Like, this is, you know.
This is getting crazy.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy. I love it. The fact that we're seeing these kind of movements in trading volume around NFTs, the question is really how well does the market propagate this? Because you've got a lot of platforms that are moving with NFT products that are going to more IP protocols like music and true art.
Right.
Then you have these whole innovations, which are really companies that have created themselves and developed these whole libraries of what NFT art is. And when you look at the top 10, I want to jump to these top 10. This is crazy. Look at this one right here. So here we go. Top NFT projects by volume. CryptoPunks, obviously we know, led the way. And then Bored Apes. Look at this list right here.
The apes are dominating, though, as far as representation. My goodness.
If you guys haven't checked out CryptoSlam, by the way, I want to give a shout out to them because they did a really good job and continue to do a really good job in tracking these. But CryptoPunks, 342 million, up 179%.
We had that Visa acquisition last week, 150 plus.
Yeah. I'm thinking that was still a PR stunt, but I'm liking what they did.
You know, but in terms of like the validity of the marketplace, when you have corporations buying NFTs, adding to their collection of artifacts, I mean, that's an indication that like this isn't just
like crypto.
This isn't just like a fad.
I agree. Art Blocks 272, 71%. Another one at Mutant Ape Yacht Club.
Those things are cool though.
Growth numbers. I like those actually. Their art is very cool. Axie Infinity, which we already know and have seen in terms of the gaming. We've covered that video.
Slight retracement though at Axie.
For sure, and you know we've talked about that. Is that it's still in the beta side of things where that project is probably still going to see some growth. It just in the current state is in right now. I think it got a little bit overzealous. Zero in One Force, 64 million. Meebits, Curio Cards, 44 million. Cool Cats.
1,800%.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Uptick.
Curio Cards, right there.
Jeez.
Go for it.
I mean, what can I say about that other than Gary V?
Yeah.
He's got a position in Curio Cards.
Yeah, there it is. Top 10 list, 1795. Projects seeking interest from Gary V, looking to get in on basically the older, lasting NFT projects. Remember, though, Gary V has been in NFTs. Probably, I would say he's one of the first big influencers that really identified it and said, this is next. Now, whether you like Gary or not, he's been a little bit of a savant in terms of
100%.
Certain things. You know, he picked the virality of what happened on TikTok.
He's got that Nostradamus type of vibe.
He understands where those markets are shifting. And, you know, there's been some misses. You know, his big one on voice, I know he was really leaning in on voice, and it hasn't happened yet, but it quite possibly could. NFT kind of took that spot. Obviously, he
wise move on his part, in my opinion.
Obviously, he was big, and we're going to talk about that. I want to jump to a video. And this was an interesting project. that he has launched, one that's close to us, because we have, if you guys don't know, we have a sister network here to PBN, Paul Barron Network, that's called Foodable. And we've been covering that for years, and we really go in deep on tech and all that good stuff on the food side. And V comes across, and here's a video I want to play that basically is launching a new NFT restaurant. This is kind of how it works.
Play out. The new thing, VCR Group, a few months ago, David Rodolitz started MPO in the city, a great restaurateur, and Josh Capon, one of the most famous chefs in the world from Lore fame, and I created the VCR Group. And we're announcing this morning that we're launching the first NFT restaurant, a membership restaurant. We've seen these executions in the city and in other major cities. But the punchline is a very modern restaurant where the token is the access to the membership and to your table. But unlike, let's say, a Raos where you own the table and the access is ownable by you and transferable on the blockchain. So this is going to come out in fall 2022. VCRgroup.com/NFT if you want to get information.
Wow.
And it's going to change the world, right? NFTs are going to be a platform for access and membership, but asset creation. So, listen, you're going to go 3, 4, 5 times, and then you might want to sell it and make a profit.
All right, so you can kind of see how he's moving into this direction. This was a unique aspect that we've actually talked about this on the show before, is that the restaurant and food space would most likely be a new creative platform, because you have right now a little bit over 800,000 chefs worldwide. And if you think about how blockchain can plug into the food ecosystem and where that's going to go, this is just one of kind of the first, I think, beginnings of what we're going to see on NFT usage in some of these other markets.
And exactly right. And I think that you hit the nail right on the head with respect to this new use case associated with NFTs, because as we just saw, a lot of the conversation, the public discourse has been around digital art.
Right.
But when we start breaking into new aspects of utility for NFTs, in this case, the membership component.
Yep.
And here's another thing that I think is quite genius on Gary V's part, this incorporation of unlocking value.
Right.
Unlocking value for the token holders that enables them to experience it and then themselves put it on the market. And for him, he's constantly collecting a royalty. So this notion of like perpetual value
exactly
is like,
well, think about
part of what the genius, where the genius lies.
Think about the viral nature of where this could go. I mean, V is a master at creating viral content. So if you think about how
he puts the V in viral.
You bet, I love it. But if you think about a restaurant, most restaurants, you've got some restaurants that do go viral and they become standing or wait list only. You just can't get in. This kind of scenario, if a restaurant were to go vertical and they really get that kind of exposure, and you're holding a table or a reservation every Saturday night at 7:30, and now that reservation, when you first got it as an NFT, was worth X, now the chef has gone, he's made a top 50 list, maybe it's an eater ranked restaurant in New York, that reservation now is worth a lot of money.
And that's the thing about it.
And that's value, that's digital assets.
Value. And I love the fact that, again, in the vein of just the different utilities associated with how crypto is helping folks unlock value, not just the proprietors or the folks that are creating it, but the people that are buying it, and just creating this ecosystem of value throughout.
So here's my question. Do you think that, and I'd love to get you guys' comments below, do you think that NFTs will kind of take a little bit of air out of the bull run that we're in right now, what seems to be continuously moving along? Even though I have a lot of people asking me, Paul, when is the bull run going to end? I'm still pointing toward late fall, which is probably now, because again, another stall point here at 50K on Bitcoin.
Yep.
Could this last to October? I don't see it going much past October, but it could move into November, and then you've got all this stuff happening in the NFT side.
And I think that's the thing, this sort of like uncoupling of BTC as the, reason why.
The indicator.
Exactly right. I feel as though there's so many different coins being released, there's so many different projects being announced, there's so many different applications and utilities that, not to say that the bull run will, continue forever, but there's so many different aspects that are helping to drive that momentum.
Well, and this is kind of, at least my prediction is that we continue to see by year end, yes, I still am, in on the 100K on Bitcoin. I do think the altcoin season will move into late fall, maybe early 2022, and I'm thinking January-ish. But NFTs could push both of those markets out a little bit.
Right.
With what, just in terms of people, remember, you got to remember, all of what's happening in crypto is based on the network effect. So the more people that remember, this is bringing news and it's bringing awareness. People are, wait a minute, this works on crypto? That's how crypto works?
Exactly right.
People that have been, you're sitting with a $700 billion industry right now in the restaurant industry. It'll be a 1.3 trillion by 2023.
Paul, another thing about NFTs is like the virtualization of assets, tangible assets.
Yep.
So when we talk about properties, commercial real estate,
that's coming.
I mean, look, like the possibilities are endless in relation to how NFTs can be utilized. And so, again, I'm not saying that the bull run will carry on forever, but I do feel as though these different.
This is different now.
Yeah, like this isn't.
In 2017, this wasn't there.
This didn't exist.
If you plug in all the dominoes that weren't there in 2017, institutional, DeFi, obviously what we're seeing in NFT space,
right?
All of those players weren't there, and you're dealing with a much more aware retail consumer and retail investor.
And you're looking at country adoption.
Yeah.
When you've got countries adopting crypto as legal tender, I mean, goodness gracious, like this is. The level of integration and how pervasive the nature of crypto is, like, again, we're not turning back the hands of time.
Here is an example right here that this is something that didn't exist in 2017. This was Gary V's VFriends, basically very collectible art type scenario. The typical NFT, what I think is the entry point. Okay, this is where the typical artist moves to. The next piece we'll see is music.
Right.
The piece after that eventually will be movies and sports, which we've already started to see with, I think as we see all of these kind of transition over where tokenization just becomes pretty much everyday life.
And another thing I'll add about Gary V and VFriends is that his vision is very akin to what Disney has done with their characters.
Exactly, yes.
And so when you think about the magnitude associated with creating these characters that are like, iconic, and the potential for that, I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing. And just to put things in perspective as far as like how quickly these VFriends are getting scooped up, you're looking at 223 sold in the last 7 days.
Yep.
You're looking at a trading volume of about 8.5 million in the last 7 days. So there's a lot of movement.
Yeah, big movement. And you've got, obviously the viral effect. Just to look at also, remember, all of this is moving toward gaming, art, kind of this digitalization of value,
right,
which is tokenization of really all things that we've been normally utilizing that didn't get value,
right,
that now has value, and
the transfer of ownership.
Exactly, that's the big key there. But I wanted to jump lastly to the top gaming tokens by market cap, and we covered this here recently. But just look at this right here: 13 billion in market cap right now, 3 billion in the trading volume. This is just of the current top projects.
Happy to say I own Engine.
So there you go, Axie, Decentral, Engine. And we've done a lot about this. I want to hear you guys' comments too, because this is something that we are exploring a lot deeper. We do have a couple of research team members that are in both DeFi and also in NFTs and gaming projects that are going deeper on these. Would you like a custom segment on gaming and NFTs? If you would, let us know in the comments below.
I mean, listen, play to earn is a real thing.
Yeah.
And people are, creating livable wages in emerging economies. And so I think there's something to be said about getting paid to play.
Yeah.
When is that not exciting? Like, when is that not motivation?
Gotta love it. All right, you guys are listening and over on the podcast right now. Again, make sure and subscribe. Give us your kudos over there. We'd love to hear from you.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment below if there are certain stories you want us to cover. Of course, we would love to hear from you. And make sure you click that bell so that you can get updated on all videos that we release. And lastly, be sure to share, right? Because the more that you share, the more knowledge that's dispensed and the more opportunity for your community to earn.
That's right, man. Spread the news. All right, if you guys want to reach me, hit me up on Twitter @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechBath.